Welcome to the demo of Git Trailblazer, an app that presents users with the latest and most popular repositories and issues from the GitHub and GitLab platforms. At the initial activity, users can either sign in with their GitHub account, sign in with an email and password, or create an account using email and password credentials. We recommend that users sign in with GitHub so that they can link their GitHub account to their Git Trailblazer account. Once a user is signed in and authenticated with Firebase, they are directed to the questionnaire activity.
The questionnaire activity takes note of user preferences. It generates topics from star repos and repos contributed to for GitHub users. It lets the user select from a range of popular topics. Users can also add custom topics. Buttons are dynamically created for custom topics. Topics collected by the questionnaire are saved to Firebase for the app to make better recommendations later.
After logging in and completing the questionnaire activity, the user is taken to the repository feed, where they are able to scroll through GitLab and GitHub repository cards. The repository feed is intended to be similar to other social media platforms, drawing heavy design inspiration from Reddit. At the top, we have the toolbar with a search bar and notification bell. Clicking the hamburger menu takes you to the app navigation, where you can also browse issues, go to your profile in the browser, and go to settings. Going back, we can perform a search by entering search tags and pressing enter. By default, the repo feed is populated with repositories that suit some combination of the preferences that we've gathered from the questionnaire. Users can sort repositories by most stars, most forks, and newest. Users can upvote, downvote, star, and fork directly from the repository card. Forking a repository opens the fork user interface in the browser. Users can also choose to filter by their starred repositories. Tags can be removed from search by clicking them. Clicking the repo card actions button allows them to further share the repository or open it in the browser. Clicking on the repo card takes users to the repo details screen.
The Repo Details view provides a much more descriptive look at the contents of a repository. Users that are interested are able to view the README to know more in depth, and for large projects, they can also tap on the external link to take them to the official website. The Repo Details view also supports viewing the contributors and contributions of the project by just simply tapping on the respective buttons. With all the extra content, functionalities from the repo feed such as upvotes, comments, forks, and stars are still supported in the Repo Details view.
Click on the comment icon at the bottom. We can go to the comment page. You might find there are already some comments by the other users. To join their discussion, simply type down your opinion and click on the post button. You can see your comment at the bottom of the thread. Click on the button on the top left will lead you back to the repo card.
Users get notifications in real time whenever someone upvotes or comments on their repos. The notification bell shows the number of unread notifications. When tapped, a user's notifications are shown, and the number of unread notifications are reset.
Let's go back to the app navigation and browse issues. The issue feed is designed to make it easy for first-time open source contributors to find good first issues. Similar to the repository feed, the issue feed allows users to search for issues via tags. Users can also sort issues by either newest or most popular, newest being the default. Unfortunately, due to time constraints, the issue feed only supports GitHub issues.
Following the professor's suggestion, we designed a recommendation algorithm based on existing research. In particular, we reviewed the article Barriers Faced by Newcomers to Open Source Projects, a Systematic Review by Igor Steinmacher, Marco Silva, and Marco Gerosa, and came up with the following criteria. 1. Look for projects that use a language that is familiar to the user. This implies that it is easy for the user to get set up. This is subtle things like setting up a Go path, setting up headers for C++, or configuring your IDE or editor. 2. Look for projects that have been recently updated. This implies that the maintainers are active and the user may not be ghosted when they ask technical questions on issues. 3. Look for projects with a non-trivial number of followers. This implies that they're more likely to get a good response and conduct proper debate. If it's just one newcomer versus the person that built the product, there might not be a diversity of opinions and the newcomer might feel less welcome. 4. Finally, look for projects that have issues marked as good first issue, help wanted, and so on. This might indicate that the maintainers are willing to help new contributors.
To go to the setting page, just click on the tool button in the navigation menu. From there, you can find two options, which is log out and delete account. Logout allows users to log in with another account, and delete account will erase any records of the login account from our server.
The first challenge we faced was the GitLab API. We expected it to be just as mature as the GitHub one, but it wasn't. In particular, it was not well documented, and there were features missing from the GraphQL API which were present in the older REST API, like repository language information and sorting, which were features we desperately wanted. Also, Firebase did not support GitLab authentication out of the box. These challenges were not in our minds when we first wanted to support GitLab in addition to GitHub.
The second challenge was the constant change of requirements through our development cycle. Developing code entirely online due to COVID restrictions was a challenge in its own, where efficient communication was key to team-based development. Moreover, our prototype demo was considered not challenging enough, so we had to arrange a meeting with our professor to increase the difficulty of our application. Shortly afterwards, we received our project pivot, which introduced more technical requirements and put more stress on our already tightly packed development schedule. We were heavily challenged to satisfy the technical requirements with limited time and resources.
In the future, we plan to focus heavily on the scaling aspect of our application. We want to shift further away from our humble beginnings of a user-friendlier GitHub Explorer and more towards a social media platform that combines all the popular code-sharing platforms into one super mobile and user-friendly ecosystem. Ideally, we want to support at least GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, and SourceHub. With this comes the scaling challenges of querying multiple drastically different APIs simultaneously and combining the results into seemingly one data source, implementing custom Firebase authentication for most, if not all of these platforms, and finding a way to generate OAuth tokens, most likely with the help of bot accounts, so that users can access the data of platforms for which they have not authenticated with.